Hey everyone, today we're going to be learning a few great tips that we often overlook when we create a PDF document. So let's dive in. If you've been here before, thank you so much for being here again today. If you're new here, well, welcome. My name is Melissa and I am the founder of Graphic Maven. I am a visual strategist, Canva certified creative, and I am a business coach for small business owners, but especially solopreneurs. So before we even get started on the 5 tips I want to share with you, I want to give you some ideas of PDF documents that you can create. Now, of course, I am creating in Canva, but these PDFs can be created pretty much anywhere. Now, a PDF document can be a lead magnet. It can be an ebook, worksheets. It can be a checklist. It can be pretty much anything that you create and then you convert into, a PDF document. Now, the very first tip that I want to share with you is something that I often come across when I download lead magnets or ebooks from other people is the cover page. I find that most of the time cover pages are missing. So a cover page should consist of the title of your ebook or whatever it is that your PDF document is. And you should have your subtitle, and then you can add your website like on this example here. Now, I am using here for this tutorial my Canva template, which is the worksheet template that can be found in my shop. So if you want to look at the pages individually after this video, I invite you to go check it out. And maybe you'll get some inspiration as well. So there's different ways that you can showcase your cover page, but it's really, really important to have a cover page. Now, I have this one that is very simple. Now, the next one, in this template, I always offer a few different variations. So this is also a different way that you can create a cover page, but it's super, super important to have, at least the title, a subtitle, and then your website. Now, on this one, you can see it's more like magazine-like, where there's like the 2 big topics that the person would share in their ebook or their worksheet would be found on this side here. Now, this is not necessary, but it's just depending on the look or the feel that you're trying to achieve. Okay, so that's the very first thing. Cover pages, super important. Now, I'm going to jump all the way down here. And we're going to talk about outro pages. I find that a lot of people are forgetting this altogether. Like most of the lead magnets that I download or I look at, there is no outro page. And this is super important because this is where people will be able to connect with you afterwards. So let's say you created this super amazing lead magnet and then they don't necessarily know or remember who they download it from, or maybe they don't even know who you are. Maybe someone sent them your way and they said, oh, download this is really good. But if they don't know you, then they don't necessarily know how to connect with you. So an outro page. So this is super important. And this should be found at the very end, just to say, hey, so for this example, hey, I'm Melissa, I'm the Canva Ninja. And then there would be like a little description and then let's keep in touch. And then you would have your links where they can connect with you. So maybe it's your website, your Instagram page, Facebook page, whatever. In this example here, there's 4 different links. And then people, now, right now you can't see this because I'm in the editing mode. But if I was to download this, if they click on the Instagram icon or the Pinterest icon, it would bring them automatically to my account, which is what we want, right? We want people to, when they're done consuming our content, to connect with us. Now, the whole networking part is a topic for another day, but this is something that you really want. You want to make sure that you are connecting with your audience. So outro page, super important. Now, the third thing that I want to share with you is it kind of goes with the outdoor page, but it can be used on different pages as well. And it's adding links to your PDF. Okay, so super important. If you want to redirect your audience somewhere, you got to make it as easy as possible for them, right? You don't want to make it complicated. And, you know, we're so overstimulated with everything online that our attention span is not very long. So if you're asking someone, you know, type this address to go check this out, there's a big chance that people are not going to do that. So you want to make sure that you add links when it's possible, and it's super easy to do that, and I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so let's say for this example, I have this Instagram icon and I want people to, when they click on it, to go to my Instagram account. So basically, when you're adding a link, you just want to select where you want to add a link. So for this case, I want to select the Instagram icon. So you'll see when you select it, there's a whole menu that pops at the top. Now you're going to go on the right side and there's that little link icon and you're going to click on it. Right now, it's already filled, right? But basically what you would do, you would just copy paste your link, whatever link it is, but for this is my Instagram account. So you copy paste it and then you click apply. It's super simple. Now, let's say that you wanted to, let's say that I want to say here, let's make this a little bigger so you guys can see. Maybe I want to say, hey, check out this amazing website I created. Okay. So if you want to add it to a text box, same thing. You want to select it and then go to the link button, and then you would add or copy paste your link, and then you want to make sure that you click apply. Super simple. Now, Canva has created this thing. Now it will automatically underline a link. You don't necessarily want that all the time. I personally don't like it, so I just go ahead and then uncheck the underline. I just prefer to have it like that, and then maybe I would create a little button or something, or you know, check out this amazing website I created. Maybe I'll change the color of this to make it so, to make it so they can click. So whenever they click on this, it would actually bring them to my website because it is linked right here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you can only have one link per text box or per icon. So let's say you wanted to, hey, check out this amazing website I created, and also check out this one too. Then you wouldn't be able to have two links. You would have to completely have a different text box for the next one. So you want to make sure that if you want to have more than one link in one text box, you're going to have to split your text. So you can do that. Okay, super simple, but this is something that is often overlooked. And it looks so professional when you're creating things like that, where people can just click on it and then just access it within just that one click. Now, of course, if you don't want to do it like this, where there's just like a click here link, you can also create like little, like a fake button. So I can show you how to do this quickly. I would go to the element tab, left hand side menu. I would select into shapes the square one, and then I would just adjust it. So of course I would just say, hey, check out this amazing website I created, and maybe I'll make this. Okay, so now I have this fake button here, and what I would do is I would select the text, and then again, same thing, enter the link that I want to have, click apply, and now I have a So they would have to just, click on here, and it would bring them to the website. And it kind of looks like a button. Super simple, right? So this is another great tip that you can add to level up the visual of your PDF documents. Okay. Now, the fourth tip that I wanted to share with you is the font size, and I see this quite often. And this is something that I was doing myself at the very beginning. Is when we create things, often we are at we look at the design at 50%. So we're like, okay, I want to make sure that this is big enough so people can read it. But you have to remember that if you're viewing your design at 50%, when you look at it at 100%, when I look at it, this is more than plenty. This is big enough. But sometimes what I see is people want to make sure that people can see what they're writing, which is great. But if you make it too big, it's just, you're going to have way too many pages for your ebook or your document. So you want to make sure that you have the right font size. And this is really simple. Like it really depends on the fonts that you're using, but you don't necessarily want, let's say for the body text, to go bigger than 14. 14 is plenty. If I look at it at 100%, it's it's big enough. It's really big enough. I can see everything. You just want to make sure that you're looking at it at 100%, and then you can see if you want to play around with it. But see, this is this text is at 10, and it's still big enough. You want to make sure this one is a bit bigger, but this is basically for a checklist, so it's a bit different. But really, 14, I wouldn't go any bigger than that. It's big enough. It's plenty. You can see very clearly. So just keep that in mind when you're creating your PDFs. Okay. Now, the next thing, or I should say the last tip that I want to share with you, and this is also often overlooked, is the colors that you're using. Not necessarily the colors, but I would say the transparency when you're creating your ebook or whatever. You want to make sure that I want to call it printer safe, but it's just because let's say, even if I look at this page here, if I was to print this one, it would take a lot of ink, right? Let's say my audience wants to print this because it's a worksheet, like it's a workbook, right? It's a bunch of worksheets that they would print and then fill out. Now, if they were to print this, it would take a lot of ink. The thing that you can do to save on ink a little bit is to simply play with the transparency. So instead of having it at 100%, where it would take a lot of the colored ink here, I can make it so like this one here, right? It's at transparency is at 22. So if I was to print that, it's not going to take as much ink as any other pages, let's say, like this one. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you have bold and really strong colors, let's say you have deep purple and black and stuff like that, keep those colors to a minimum and use your lighter colors, and then play with the transparency, because there's nothing more frustrating than when you're trying to print something and it takes half of your ink when you're printing a simple document, right? So you want to just keep that in mind. As much as beautiful colors are awesome, you want to make sure that you're keeping it to lighter colors. Now, these are all the tips that I wanted to share with you today. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below, and I will see you next time.